Yo, 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 yo. What's good, my people? It's Jason Gooner. We are back on Jason Gooner TV, and it's another episode of Reasoning Time. It is episode 23, and you can call this one an emergency meeting or an emergency episode, people, because we have some news out of the JFF today. Just came across earlier on today. I saw the clip, and I'm going to play that for you guys. Of course, you know, you see in the title, you see the thumbnail tonight. Rudolph Speid front and center, new technical advisor for McClaren and the coaching staff. But I will play it from the president's mouth, the actual words used, but that's the way I see it. He's a technical advisor for McClaren. So we're going to talk about that. Is it the right choice? You see the question mark, Speid, the right choice? And of course, on the thumbnail as well, you see where I said, can McClaren and Speid right the ship, right? So we're going to break that down, talk about it, try to see if this makes any sense at all. If there's any angle you can look at this and say, yes, this is a move that I can understand and try to make sense of. We're going to see. We're going to talk about it tonight, people. Look, I was not planning on doing this show tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching Arnett Gardens take on the team from Dominica. They're up 3-0 now in the second half. But I said, listen, man, this today that came out, I think it's definitely worthy of something that we need to be talking about, at least on this platform. So I want to have a conversation about it. Look, it's something that obviously I've been hearing about for some time now in terms of the idea being floated that Rudolph Speid could become a member of the coaching staff. You know, and I've come to realize that a lot of times whenever things are being floated around, I think people are just trying to get feelers for what the reaction will be if they do indeed decide to move along with whatever they're asking about, right? So, you know, sometimes what I've found is, you know, you'll see these shows come on and the thumbnail is there and they're talking about whatever information. And of course, everybody has their different sources. And what I'm realizing is, even if whatever is being spouted does not come totally true, there can be some truth to a lot of the things that you hear. And I think this is a perfect example of that. It's something that's been floating around. Those that, you know, are involved in conversations about the football in Jamaica would have heard the rumblings about the potential of him joining the staff. And, you know, it seems as if they have come to that decision now. So we're going to definitely discuss that today for sure. We're not going to rush the program, though. I'm going to give folks time to find that we're live. I know Jason Gooner is not the type of person that goes live all the time. So you guys might not realize or know that we're live when we are. So I'm just going to give some time to let some folks come in. Look, I want to first and foremost say big ups to each and every one of you who have already subscribed. We made it to the 2,000 mark the other day. So yeah, we're still thankful for that. A few days ago now it actually happened, so we're grateful and thankful that we have been able to reach another milestone on the channel. You know, without the support of you guys, really, this thing doesn't really make much sense, right? Because if I'm just here talking to the screen all night and not talking to anyone, then what is the point, right? Also, I want to say if you are new to the channel and you find it for the first time, just a little bit about the channel. Gooner TV focuses on football mainly, even though we basically are a fan of all sports. But on this channel, for the most part, you're going to hear us talk about football. We are Jamaican Regge Boyz, Reggae Girls national team fan. We follow Jamaican local football as well. We also do EPL coverage, Champions League, you name it. If ball is being kicked, we'll cover it. So on that note, we didn't cover it on the channel here in terms of live matches or anything, but want to congratulate Nigerian women's team for winning the women's AFCON. They defeated Morocco in the final. They were down 2-0 as well, and they came back to win that one 3-2. So congrats to Nigeria. And also earlier today, we had covered quite a few games in the Women's Euro. Could not cover the game today, so just want to big up England, the Lionesses, for defeating Spain. I did not think that would happen today, but England again proving to keep their nerve in the penalty shootout. Spain, could only convert one penalty, I think, of the ones they took. So not the best showing by Spain. England getting it done. The Arsenal females, the cross from Kelly, Arsenal, header by Russo, Arsenal. Mariana Caldente from Spain scores the goal for Spain, Arsenal. And Chloe Kelly, Arsenal again, scoring the last penalty. So the women, the Arsenal women and the England women teaching the Arsenal men and the England men how to win competition. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one. Of course, there have been the transfers been going crazy. So to all you fans that tune into Jason Gooner only when he's talking about Jamaican stuff, you probably haven't seen me do this yet. So not for the first time you're seeing me do this. Gyökeres people. Gyökeres in the building. Yeah, man, Gyökeres in the building, people. So Arsenal have gotten their bags, man, right? Victor Gyökeres signed, unveiled to the fans today in Singapore. Played Newcastle, won that game 3-2. But definitely, things looking decent for the club. I do still feel like Arsenal are still a sign in a way, if I'm being greedy too. But I think there's another big one in the works. I think we have to get some sales though. I think Reece Nelson headed to Fulham. And I think one of Trossard or Martinelli might be sold as well. But let's see. I think I like where we're at. I like the fact that we at least have the striker in. Already been rumored that he's going to play his first game when we play Spurs in Hong Kong. So that would be good. Give him 3 games before the season starts to actually play with us. And I think he should hit the ground running day one against Old Trafford's finest, Yo, says BM in the building. Big up yourself. Demario McCallum say corruption with a whole heap of exclamation. Boy, Demario. That sound like truth, brother. I'm not gonna lie. Big up as well, Duckland. Yo, in the building. Busby losing to England doesn't seem too bad now. Joke, it's still bad. Gunners Boss in the building, so can't wait for some real football. American version. NCAA Week 0 is Saturday, 8:23. Well, Gunners Boss, I know about the sport as well. 4-0 to Arnett there, but he's offside. Damn. So that don't count. So it looked like Arnett might not top the group. I think they needed to win this game 6-0 to go top of the group and goal difference. But them stuck at 3-0 from 16 minutes. I don't know. But so Georgia Bulldogs all the way. That means it. Bless up Rob Smith in the building. That pose might come back to haunt. We'll see. That pose might give the league nightmares too. I just don't see on what planet unless the man just broke him leg like right away. Him not have a decent output. I mean, Mikel Merino never played striker in his life. The man played like 15 games last year at striker and scored 9 goals. So imagine a real gunman now. Come on, man. Yeah, absolutely. Nobody will stop you guys from finishing second. It's a lot now, bro. Happy for you. Big up yourself, Rob Smith. My dad, stop saying. We're locked to finish second now. I was the first person to tell Mr. Speed to take up the coaching position. Well, Gunners boss, you might also be the only person that will find a silver lining in this appointment, you know? Maybe not the only one, but a select few. A select few. Imagine calling hand egg real football. I always say them should just change it to tackle ball because them say it's football, but them not rate the kicker them. None at all, or the punter them. Them not like them. They think they're the lamest people on the team. So I don't know how the sport end up be football. It don't make much sense. Because to me, it should have named handball. Well, there's a handball already, but it should have named tackle ball, war ball. I don't know. But football don't make no sense. All right, 4 now. 4. Jeez and peas. Nothing. Hand egg. Hand egg. Shadow hand egg. So people, on a feeling about the season starting back up. Happy with what the team's doing in the transfer market, and you know, I think on the side can win. Rugby for snowflakes because they wear pads. For real. Because rugby are a real talk them, you know. And man, they run full speed into one another with no pads. Belgian league start this weekend too. Yeah, Regge Boyz around the world did some things this weekend, you know, people. Speed verse first advice, Ainsworth should start at left back. Why, man, I wear pads? Not those kind of pads. Dirty mind. The leader says Mr. Speed has improved tremendously and is easily the best football brain in Jamaica now. All right, the leader. Well, we know how highly the leader thinks of Mr. Speed. I just want to know, how does success in the Caribbean translate in CONCACAF at the international level? Because it's one thing to be dominant in the Caribbean, and maybe the fact that we have an all Caribbean final group in the World Cup, maybe that had something to do with the thinking behind all of this. But you know, I don't think it's necessarily his acumen as a coach. I think the question marks all lie with, you know, how many different areas can one man control, you know, and I don't know if he can escape that, regardless of what kind of shifting around we do with his position, right? Some things are just what they are, you know. Some things are what they are. And I am not hating, because I do NFL fantasy and catch some games and enjoy it. Love sports. Yeah. I agree though. The name don't make sense to me. I've always said that, even though I've always watched it. Leader is going to be on a campaign now. Yeah, for sure. Speed need to step down from his technical chairman role. Yeah, I would think that would have to be a must, right? I mean, how could he consider working in a capacity where the technical committee, as far as I was to understand, is the one that, you know, makes recommendations to the board about the firing and hiring of staff. So how is it that he would lead an entity like that has that, you know, under their jurisdiction, and then be one of the coaches that they're evaluating? You know, it's just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, you know. All right, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. There is no conflict of interest. Mr. Speid hired Rudolph Speid. But I said no Mr. on the advisor role. You only have the Mr. in the other role. The first match versus Inter Miami was an eye-opener. It showed we can compete. Wow. Okay, so the leader. So I've heard this said, because I think Speid said this himself in an interview, if I'm not mistaken, on Sportsmax, that the first half was an eye-opener. Or the first match. I think it would be better if they stated that the first half of the first match was an eye-opener, because that was when we had the chances on the transition phase. But I would say about 35 minutes into that first half, Inter Miami was like, all right, let's take this thing up another level. And from that point on, they could not cope. From that point on through the two next matches, through that next half and the whole game of the next game in Jamaica. So I think we're overblowing this whole show we can compete. Comparatively to FC Cincinnati, yes, it was a better scoreline. It wasn't as lopsided, right? But I think this compete thing is going too far. It's going too far for me. They did well, not taking anything away from them, but nah. Football doesn't mean kicking a ball with the foot. It describes a variety of games played on foot. What? Football doesn't mean kicking a ball with the foot. It describes a variety of games played on foot. Where you get that from? What do you mean a variety of games? No, one game. It's one game. I would think that since the game, how you start a American football game, Gunners Boss, you kick the ball off. So maybe that's how it got the name football. But I mean, the kicker and the punter are afterthoughts. So why would it be called football? It just doesn't make sense to me. Big up every time Gooner and the crew smash the likes. Big up Erafs in the building. Superman in the building. Yeah, man. They're going to make me know what the likes are. Look, respect, bro. Walter Camp gave it to the American game of football that can't be played if you don't have feet. Okay. So Gunners Boss said, stop taking it so literal. The man never use them foot in every action on the field. So what, tennis could have been football too? Can you have to run to play tennis? Come on, Gunners Boss. That line of reasoning don't make sense. The only puppet I see bigger than the president is Big Bird, and it's close. Is 4-0 really compete? That's what I'm saying, Duckland. Like them saying it's competing, but Inter Miami played within themselves, man. Both of those two games, them never extend themselves to that. Leader, that Cavaliers team that played Inter Miami should have been the majority of the national team. G's and P's. Gunners Boss and leader them, when they just need for us. Bill on one side there, man. And Sepp broke away from Jamaica and just play. Be like, what them name Guadeloupe. Just play like World Cup since FIFA now got accept no. So curling, which I love, is football as well. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, but bless up Eras. DJ Gigs in the building, what go on? You ever see a man without foot playing that game? But Gunners Boss, that not go for every game, boss. Tennis, basketball, track and field. I mean, damn, what sport you don't use your foot? So how come that sport get football just because you run with the ball in your hand and you throw the ball, but you throw it from a standing position on your feet? So that means every sport then is just football, because every sport you run or you use your foot. They need to call basketball netball. JFF Cocoa Juice seems to be in overdrive. Hey, people going to think what they are thinking about. I think I've heard Gunners Boss numerous times say that him don't agree. Him think that people that born on the soil in Jamaica should be the representatives of all the national teams, no matter what sport. Him don't like the idea of even when he was asked, so you're picking them, cause him there foreign living. I mean, know him have kids that born in America as well. He must say no, even if him picking them, if you go play for USA or play with them back. So the man, because a lot of times when people have that sentiment, and then them say, well, what would you feel if you're a son? A certain man will draw it back and say, yo, you know what? A real thing, you know. If I'm a son, I wouldn't want him get discriminated against if I'm good enough to play. And, you know, the one thing I stop them is because him don't born in Jamaica. I wouldn't want that to happen. When I was boss say, yo, I tell me pick them the same thing. Them for good. Say, damn, this guy's not normal with those thoughts. Gunners is a product of some get high grades. Just remember that. Leave the ego out of the reason. The term football originated in England to distinguish games played on foot from those played on horseback. Okay. So which ego is that I'm using, Gunners boss? I'm just using reasoning. It's not no ego. If the term football was used to distinguish games played on foot, my argument my line of reasoning remains the same. Any sport that is not played on horseback is football, based on what you're saying. So tennis is football, basketball is football, any sport that is not on a horse is football. The only time the man them creative is to come up with stuff like call Speid technical advisor instead of coach so he can keep his JFF post. Well, I said the only creativity them ever show is when them try, you know, some madness. He played against a bunch of players that are on the verge of retirement, and some things that they show that they can compete. Yeah, well, look, remember DJ Gigs, you know, going into that game, you know, that was the talk. That was why they were saying we should be optimistic about the chances because they're so old. And I said, bro, these guys could be old subtle. You know, that just means that them know the game a bit more, you know. Spin. For real. Spin doctors, you know. What about on-foot sports that don't use balls? Good point. A true journalist do research, then inform the audience instead of counting everything, is all I'm saying, my Gooner brother. Okay, no problem. I'll take your point there. I don't the last comment you made about why it was given the term, I'm not familiar with that. So yeah, I couldn't really speak to that without making some more you know, doing some more research. So yeah, we can do that. Like them type of thing then. But and maybe that's why, you know, I'm not formally a journalist anyway. I just have a YouTube channel, so I don't think I would ever just think automatically like a journalist. It's more just having a conversation like we're there at the barbershop or something, a chat. So yeah. Did you watch Boza game the other night? Actually thought he played very well. Should have put away his chance though, but he was very good. Yeah, I did watch his game. Actually contemplated doing that game live, you know, because I did the first game of the season when he was on the bench. And he came on, or not the first game, maybe it was their second game. I did that game. But I did watch the game. I watched basically the first like 55 minutes, and then I saw he came off shortly after that. So I didn't miss much of when he was off the field. But yeah, he should have put away the chance he got. But he did play well in terms of like I know he set up one big chance. Because I saw that one. I think he might have got credited for two. But I know he set up one big chance and had a very good sofa score rating after the game. So did well. Did better than definitely better than his first two appearances for the season. For sure. And they just passed the ball around them. Yeah, they didn't use speed. I tell everybody the football moves faster than the fastest player. Even Usain Bolt the ball faster than. So if the other team understand space, understand how to position themselves and move the football around, it will beat speed all the time. And when I say speed, I don't mean the coach. I mean the word SPEED. When I talk about Rudolph Speid, you have to differentiate them thing there. You know? So Arnett Garden stuck at 3-0. This is amazing. Man, them scored the first three attack them make and can't score again after that. Them need Warner Brown. No space, more space for the YouTubes now. I heard Sportsmax will be no more. Them couldn't ask ESPN or Fox Sports to help them out. ESPN or Fox Sports. Mirrors. But them have time I do nothing in a Jamaica, brother. Bonus boss, did you tell him to divest all of his other roles as well? I don't think so, you know. I think him think Speed can do, his job and more. We want Bowser to do well, but he's just not getting it together. The last performance was more promising. I mean, I'd like to see some consistency though. So like the next 2 games, them, but I like him have 2 good games now. Brain faster than your body every time. Using football is the arrogance that caused them to refer to themselves as Americans when the entire North Central South peoples are Americans. Facts. Bless up RR. Hope all is well. They need a $97 million man. Yeah. I said that. I said that earlier. My father was asking me about the figure. I'm telling him, I say, well, I think they might play a match tonight. So I'm going to see if them can do it without him, you know. Yeah, man, RR. I did up on the road today, star. Cause Julie did have a game today, and before that, I did up on the road. So the timing just never work out for me. Stay home in the studio. I have to get up on the road today. But Julie, the winner, you see, that's the first preseason scrimmage, or friendly today, which was nice. So, yeah. But yeah, sad I missed the final though. I would have done it, but I just couldn't do it. All right, so people, I want to kind of get the show on track. I've been kind of yapping to you for about almost 30 minutes now. Glad that there's about 20 other viewers or so in the building. So what I want to do now is get into the meat of this matter, which is what we found out today, that there's going to be a shakeup as far as the coaching staff, or the I don't even know how to frame it. The technical team of the coaching staff is going to look, or of the Regge Boyz is going to look, and that is basically because we are going to have an announcement that we saw on Instagram today. I'm going to pull that up and get that queued up for you guys. But before I do so, I have a special guest in the building that I'm sure has a lot to say on this particular topic, among others. And it's actually a good segue because we're talking earlier about the big money move by Warner Brown. But before I give it away or give away too much, let me just go ahead and get them on here. You have seen him before on the channel. He's definitely a friend of the channel. More than that to me personally. But hopefully you guys, I know you guys are in for a treat because he always has a lot to say and doesn't mind saying them in his way. So people, please give a big round of applause and welcome to the man himself, Pops, Mr. Michael Hall in the building. Want to go on that?
Bless up, Jay. Bless up to the chat. Yeah, man, me there. Just finished doing a little work for next year CPL. They put that work grind already and still even on a Sunday night. But yeah, man, I'm going to join you tonight for a couple of minutes, and thanks for having me still.
Yeah, man. So actually, the main topic, of course, is the whole announcement that we saw today. But what I wanted to just touch on briefly, because someone brought it up, Duklan mentioned it. They need the $97 million man. So I'm sure you would have seen the reports and everything. What are your thoughts on this? What is sure to be the largest transfer of club to club in JPL history?
Well, I mean, first of all, I say congrats to Arnett Gardens. I mean, them hit the lotto jackpot, right? Obviously, Mount Pleasant believes that they are making an investment that they hope will have some return beyond what they have paid Arnett Gardens to get Warner Brown into their team. Look, usually when a young player, and he's not that young, right? He's 20. What is he? 23, 22?
Yeah, I think he's 23 going on 24 soon.
Okay, so in football years, he's not that young. Usually when you buy a player that's young and you pay, a a good
Oh, yeah,
amount
no,
of
sorry. Just
time.
for the record, he's 23 in August. So yeah, he's still 22.
Okay, all right. So he's turning 23. So you in many in many instances it's a gamble, right? I mean, unless the person is a surefire, whatever. And Warner Brown is not that, right? Yeah, he may have scored some goals in the Premier League last year, but obviously you have to consider the relative strength of the JPL to other leagues around the globe. Um, so look, as I said, I think you said to me, Jason, I don't know, I don't really know for sure that there was interest in him from a club or some clubs in Europe, and a certain figure was maybe on the table before, like 300,000 plus euros.
Yeah,
And Mount Pleasant,
it's been
obviously,
reported that basically Mount Pleasant outbid a team or a few that were bidding,
no
something
no
lower.
names, no names called of which the team or teams. No,
All I heard was like that region, like Serbia, that side of the world. I didn't really hear any clubs. Maybe somebody in
Eastern Europe.
the chat will say something.
Yeah, all right. But what I will say is this, yeah. Congrats to Arnett for doing a deal that got them 97 million Jamaican dollars. Obviously in US dollar terms, it's not really that much money, but in terms of the JPL and where how that can stretch and how that will help Arnett, great. I think that I can't tell for sure. Who knows what Warner Brown or what kind of player Warner Brown will develop into, but my view at this point in time is that if Mount Pleasant is looking for a return on that $97 million investment, they might as well go around to the corner shop and buy 2 lotto tickets, because the jackpot is 214 million right now. And I think right now it's better than to do that. I don't see Warner Brown's next transfer being for higher than $97 million. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I wish the young man well, and I hope it happens for him. But I also hope that Arnett has some sell-on clauses in whatever deal they did with them. I hope so for their
Yeah, that was my main thing is, hopefully they didn't kind of, we said cut off your nose to spite your face, because if the opposite of what you said happens, they could in the end lose out on what for right now looks to be a great time for them, or a great, something in the coffers for them. The other thing I've heard, I don't know how true it is they were more willing to take it due to the time of the year that it is right now for who runs the club over there. But I'm not going to get into that. I heard that that could come in handy this time of the year, but of course I'm joking about that part. But yeah, Arnett Gardens, look, I think if they were smart, they would have inserted something, 20%, 15%, whatever, the regular rate is for something like that, so that they can, if miraculously he goes there, and I guess the only thing I could think is Mount Pleasant obviously more likely to win the Caribbean tournament and things of that nature. We've just seen Jalmar Calvin go to St. Mirren. I don't know what the figure was for that transfer, but I don't know if it was what Mount Pleasant just spent, so who knows?
So, as a Chelsea fan, I can't really frown too much on a team that spend a lot of money to acquire players and things.
Yes, that would be very
because Chelsea spend a lot of money to acquire players, so we can't really blow that club to do that. But if I'm honest with you, I just think that it's it kind of unfair in the Jamaican context. You know what I mean? That because no club in Jamaica can compete with Mount Pleasant.
I think the only club
in that regard.
Yeah, the only clubs that maybe could have sniffed a fee of that number, and one of them is like highly unlikely because it's not their model, is Cavalier, because they had a lot of earnings and income from winning competitions last year, namely the Caribbean Cup. That's a big payout, and playing in that round of CONCACAF Champions Cup, that's another payout. The gate at Messi's game, that's another, so they had some revenue that other clubs
Right.
wouldn't have. And then Montego Bay with their ownership, I hear that there's some massive investment out there. So
And
maybe
just
they
about,
could have done something
yeah,
like that.
I was just about to say that maybe only Moby United, because
But other
the man
than
behind the
those,
club, they have some serious dollar.
right, and so other than those, really one other, because I don't think Cavalier would do that. That's not their model. They've never proven to spend money. They just bring players through. That's what they do. So really only one other club. And I think if that club was to do a move of this size, they'll be broke for the rest of the year. Whereas I think Mount Pleasant could potentially buy 2 more guys at that number and still run the club.
Yeah, man, I'm sure they could.
Or
I'm
more.
sure they could. Yeah, so
Yeah,
look.
So you're saying because it's such a discrepancy of what they can do to others, it's kind of counter,
And yet still them can't get over the hump. Cavalier always a pick them said way. You know what I mean? So
well, my theory on that is I feel like I've never been a fan of a league ending with playoffs. I know it's like a revenue thing in Jamaica, and like they want the super final to market and blah blah blah. But that's why you have a damn cup and you have the super final of your cup. To me, if Mount Pleasant won a league. They won a league by freaking 20 points. It makes no sense to me that they have to then go and win some games now and can catch farm and just I don't know.
And win it for a canter.
Yeah,
but look, that's the format here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it is. So I can't downplay the fact that they didn't win the format that we.
Maybe Mount Pleasant run out of steam after the season done. I don't really know. But Warner Brown, yeah man, we talk about him, big up Warner Brown. But Rasta, the big news for the thing, the big news for the day.
Yeah.
How will really take place this afternoon, brother?
All right, so look.
The man is like the man position himself to be the guinea gag / czar / we don't
everything.
know.
Head cook, bottle washer, everything.
Like
all right, before we get into it, right? Let me just show this really quickly to anybody who is under a rock and hasn't actually heard the words that has been said. Let me play it for you guys right now. All right. So this is Ricketts today. TVJ News came out with the news. Let me take it off. Hold on. Sorry. Keep on smashing the like button, people, while I get this going. All right. So
they will work as we try. Would have approved Rudolph Speid as the technical advisor to our technical program, which means that he will be with the team, he will be in the locker room, he'll travel around with the team, he will advise the coach. They'll work closely together. Of course, McClaren, Speid, and of course the other 2 assistants. They will work as we try to craft a path forward that will take us to the World Cup.
All right, people. So,
well, the board some hours ago would have approved Rudolph Speid as the technical advisor to our technical program, which means that he will be with the team, he will be in the locker room, he'll travel around with the team, he will advise the coach. They'll work closely together. Of course, McClaren, Speid, and of course the other 2 assistants. They will work as we try to craft a path forward that will take us to the World Cup.
Yo. Hey, I gotta tell you something. You see, the last time I come on the show and we are talking about the JSF and thing, I'm gonna say one of the biggest problems they have is communication.
Mm-hmm.
You see them look at dopey statement where the man come and make on Instagram, and that's how them announce this big thing. The man not even explain what is a technical director or advisor. Sorry, you not explain it, right? You say he'll be working closely with the coach, he'll be in the locker room, he'll be on the field. What that mean? What must do? So here, this is what I discovered when I tried to do a little research on what is a technical advisor. See? So here what? He will interact with the players to identify and resolve issues. He will identify and deliver new training initiatives. He will maintain an effective performance review system. He will create and maintain a talent pipeline. And he will improve the technical and coordinative skills of each player using small groups. Now that sounds to me like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm splitting hairs, but that sounds to me like an ex-coach. And I can tell you that if I was Steve McClaren, I'd tell the JFF to kiss my ass and just come off of the thing. Because like them hire a man to stand up over him and you understand?
Yeah, but that's and the hilarious thing about that, that sounding like it's a guy that's gonna kind of watch over what's going on. Well, backside is not him hire the man to become coach.
So exactly, and he's already doing that. He's the head of the technical committee of the Jamaica Football Federation. So he must, over time and over whenever McClaren is in the job, that's one of Speid's tasks as head of the technical committee, to constantly review his performance and make a determination as to whether he is doing a good job or not. Why does he have to also know him going in the locker room? What is that? Look, the only other person that I see or country that I see that is a technical advisor to the head coach, and I found this, maybe you know, maybe the other people watching know. Remember Winfred Schaefer?
Yes, he does that with Nigeria now.
With Ghana.
With Ghana, sorry.
Okay, and there was an article that said Schaefer is now the technical advisor. And at least in that article...
It wasn't released on Instagram?
Well, I don't know. I find it on BBC. I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, I found it on the BBC website. Anyway, he's to develop and implement long-term strategic plans. He'll be tasked with leading youth development and ensuring consistent high performance from all national teams.
So he's the chairman of the technical committee again?
Except, this was Schaefer appointed technical advisor. But look, however you want to slice it and dice it or define it, as I say, if I was McClaren, I would say, it's obviously I don't think me can do this, or I don't think I can do a good job. You want to pay me out, we're gone. Or you want to change my title and call me chief scout and just pay me to find people in England that have Jamaican connection and see if we can get them to sign up for the Regge Boyz. Because it's like that is what they want him to do. I mean, they might as well just name Speid the coach.
Thank you. And
because I don't think he cannot be the head of the technical committee and the technical advisor to the national team. I don't think he should be the head of the technical committee and be coaching a team in the Premier League either.
Yeah,
but, maybe I'm being a little bit too hard.
Well, look, the argument that I always get to that when I brought that up in the past is Jamaica's football
talent pool
and the pool of people that would be, capable of getting that post is not so large. And if it's not someone who coaches one of the top teams, then who the heck are we getting to do it?
Somebody from outside. If the only man in Jamaica who have the technical ability to be the head of the technical committee is a coach of one of the teams, get an next person then until the talent pool get bigger.
Well, as far as I know, the JFF constitution don't allow that, because in order to serve on one of those committees, you have to be a member of the JFF, I believe. And in order to do so, you have to be a member of one of the parish associations or be domiciled in Jamaica for 10 years in a row or some crap like that. So, yeah, I don't care how great my mind is or any other mind that's not in Jamaica right now. I could never be on the technical committee because I don't live in Jamaica, even though I love Jamaica and I follow Jamaica religiously and I track the players religiously and I do all the crap that anybody that would want to be in technical aspects of anything could and should be doing. I could never do it because of how the constitution of the JFF is written. So it is what it is. But
you can
what?
come home. You can come home, come live, you know.
Yeah, I can, but I mean, that's, you know, I could come tomorrow and I still wouldn't be able to do it until 2030 something, you know. So it is what it is. What it is. It is what it is. But I think we are not utilizing a lot of the capital that we could use in football because of rules like that. And I think the fear is, you know, we'll be able to speak more frankly about the talent in the football, and I don't know if that's really what they would want. You know, they need to kind of continue to oversell, you know, what the ability of what's going on, and you know, how far the players could take us. You know, I think I don't know if I can play. I wouldn't be able to play that game because I'm just too honest about the players.
What I need to do is tell the truth. Okay.
Yes.
And not sugarcoat it and say, you know, although I hate to draw this analogy but you know, it's like the West Indies cricket board announcing that they were convening a thing and they was going to call Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, and Brian Lara. You know, now I happen to be in Ghana doing the Ghana Global Super League at the time, and the chairman of that tournament is Clive Lloyd, and it's somebody I know, and me and him talk, and I said to him, boy, Skip, I see them call you and Viv and Brian to come to some meeting, and well, I don't know, I think Sir Clive watch your show, but I tell you what him say. Him say, Hall, I don't really know what they're calling me for. I don't know what they expect me to do. In other words, he was saying them could have called Jesus.
Yeah.
That a meeting cannot help what the problem is. And I think, you know, the people that are in running football in Jamaica, yeah, I understand the need to market and for there to, you know, the outside world have a perception that we're making progress and so on and so forth. But when the results don't show that, then let's be honest and real about the thing and say, you know, we are moving in the right direction, but we have a relatively long way to go.
Yeah, and I think you know, is there any world, right, or alternate universe where this move there's any positive to it? Because I'm struggling to try to figure out, like, can any good come from this, like, at all?
Not for McClaren.
For real, because I mean, how is he supposed to feel now? You know, the person that already was kind of over his shoulder in a way. You know, I strongly believe that the coach that has been around the team the longest from Jamaica, Marion Garden, I think he was already Speid's eyes and ears of what's really going on. You know, if he wants to know how training went, blah, 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 that's probably who he would be talking to, right? And now that is even ramped up now because he himself is there.
He doesn't need to talk about it though.
Exactly, he's there. And for the longest, Mr. Speid has always maintained, I deal with policy. I don't really get involved. And then what was very eye-opening was at the Unity Cup, he was asked, I think it was Oral Tracy he was talking to, and he was asked, and he said, yes, I'm going to observe. I want to be a little closer to what's going on because I wasn't really happy with the two. What games was he not happy with?
Most of the games, like I said,
the BVI or the Saint. I don't know what it was, but it was. He said he wanted to get a little closer to the team in that time because of that. So that was the first thing that opened my eyes to say, Ratin, he's kind of angling himself to get around the team. And then what kind of convinced me was the last time he spoke on Sportsmax, he finally for the first time said, I think at this current stage, I would be ready to take on something like that. He had always said before, I don't want to, I'm not ready, I'd rather stay in policy, I can help the country more that way. So when I saw the Unity Cup getting closer and I heard him say that, I said, well, it's only a matter of time. And sure enough, you know, due to the fact that I make YouTube programs and I'm kind of in the space and stuff, people started floating around the question to me. So what do you think? Would you be okay if Speid was on the coaching staff? And once that starts, you know, once them start to put them little feelers out there, I think the reason why the technical advisor role was chosen that is because they got so much pushback about when they asked, how will you react if Speed was the assistant coach? And everybody probably said, what the blood, man, you mad? They said, okay, we need him in there. We can't make him assistant coach. So
they have invented
do something else.
Mm.
And it's like, bro, you cannot trick me. You just named out verbatim, based on your research, what a technical advisor does. All of that shit sounds like coaching stuff to me. Right? So, you know.
And what does that say? And does that suggest, therefore, that the whole setup and role and strategy behind the hiring of McClaren and the effort to get to the World Cup in 2026 was not properly thought out previously? Or is this really just a reaction to what is viewed by the JFF hierarchy as some poor performances to date by McClaren?
Yeah, I think this basically is saying to me that they have lost faith in McClaren, but I also think that they don't think that the entire fan base is ready for them to just put Speed as the head coach. So they've figured out a way to increase Speed's influence in the team, which is what I think Speed has convinced the JFF brass that he is the guy for the job, clearly, because they wouldn't be figuring out a way to make him in the coaching staff without making him a coach. So I think that they don't think that they can pull the trigger and get rid of him. Also, I think this is a valid point as well that MPW said here. They want the coach to quit because if they fired him, they have to pay him. So they're figuring out the most cost-effective way to fire him without firing him.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it may come, McClaren might just say, quit? No, brother. Me hang on. You don't have to fire me or not to release me out of my contract and buy me out. I mean, again, one would hope that having been burned with the other coach and or whatever previous issues of poor contract being written poorly and having to cost them money and things, that they would have some sort of termination clause in there that will allow them to use some previously agreed metrics that if they're not met, then that's cause to we can fire you,
right,
without having to buy out the balance of your contract. Hopefully.
Wow. So this, I was interested about this. So Issa Allen said, Jason, the position Speed has now acquired is a paid one, I heard. Well, that's, I think somebody else brought this up to me, and I said, boy, if he's indeed getting paid for this part, that is crazy, because firstly, how is it, who approved of him being the advisor?
I would say, yeah, so I'm going to say to you that it would have to be the technical committee. Because they're the ones that would... Speed take up one and phone them and dial the other one we have, and him say, hello, Rudolph, this is Mr. Speed from the technical committee. Oh, hi, Mr. Speed. Yeah, Rudolph, we would like to come, we'd like to come and interview for the technical advisor job. Oh, what time would you like me to come, Mr. Speed? Well, Rudolph, come on. Who else would hire the position of technical advisor to the national team other than the JFF's technical committee? And who chairs that committee? Speed. And now this one of your subscribers or one of the guys in the chat now is telling you that this is a paid position. See this thing stink like when, as Professor Nuts said, this thing think no conch shell.
Yeah, man. Horrible. Big up yourself, BBK Sports in the building. Yeah, man, people, make sure subscribe to the boss channel, man. Eros drop the link there. So yeah, man, make sure to give my strength. My fellow Gooner, him blaze way more fire than me though. Him not trust Arteta one bit. Sure than I did with laugh. What I said, the phone call to Speed himself, yeah man, I want the bad. But that's clearly what it looks like. I mean, how plus there was no mention in that little, and to me, I've said this and you have said it as well, the communication always leaves us asking more questions. There's no clarity. The man said he's gonna be around the team, travel with the team, be in the locker room. What was
wishy-washy?
Is he gonna sit on a bench? Is he gonna be in the crowd, not McClaren? Like, what's really going on? What's
There
really going
should
on?
be.
Is Speed gonna keep his post as the chairman of the technical committee?
Yo, we can. Well, listen. The Instagram post, and I don't know who put it up. Was it put up by the Glean or the JFF?
TVJ News.
TVJ. Okay. One of the paragraphs it said, interestingly, he will still maintain his post as chairman of the JFF's technical committee.
Wow.
So that's what it said.
Yes, it does say that. I didn't even read what it was saying.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So the whole thing is just totally ridiculous, man. It's totally ridiculous.
So people, you guys did that, right? Second paragraph.
Yeah,
Interestingly, Speed will, however, remain as head of the technical committee, which actually selected and appointed Halgrimson's successor, McClaren.
Person, TVJ, forget all McClaren. Them done with McClaren already. They want to start calling him John McClaren.
It no matter what name, because he's just he put a name anything.
A dead man walking.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. So we're hearing things, Eddie and them pocket, allegedly. Boy, Eddie is a gooner like myself, brother. But boy, I don't know. That video you put out, you coming like Gunner's boss, because you take credit as well. I say a long time you're saying to take the post, but
there should have been, and let us keep hope alive and maybe pray that there actually will be, but there should have been a written statement, whatever you want to call it, from the Federation, clearly outlining the role of the technical advisor. Because as far as I know, this is the first time that Jamaica's football team has had a technical advisor. So what is the role? What are the expectations? What is Speed supposed to achieve so that we can know, if after 6 months in the job as technical advisor, them should I get rid of him too because him not do, or he should get rid of, he should call him himself into the office one day and say, boy, Rudolph, yes, Mr. Speed, boy, Rudolph, we're sorry to tell you that, you have been performing well, so we'll have to get rid of you. Oh, please, Mr. Speed. No. So what is he expected to do? Okay. That should, and then what, look, when you read this thing, you just have to read between the lines, Ricketts says Speed's appointment became necessary following the Regge Boyz' dismal showing at the Gold Cup. In other words, Ricketts said that Speed's appointment became necessary because McClaren did a shitty job. That's basically what it's saying. Rudolph Speid is the head national coach in waiting. That's all this is.
Yeah, because if you as the president of the organization is saying that you had to call on this advisor to advise the coach, and what makes it just so Jamaica is the fact that the man you call to advise is the man who hired the man who you said never coach good. So typically in an organization, both of those people would go. How much time in sports you see the coach and GM fire at the same time?
Correct.
It happens all the time.
Correct.
It happens all the time. So yeah, look, man, it's the height of ridiculousness as far as I'm concerned. I don't really understand how anyone could look at this and not get why people would just be so. You can't make sense of this. You cannot make sense of this. To me, they should have just done what they wanted to do if they were going to do this. I would rather be trying to make sense of Speed as the head coach right now than trying to make sense of the advisor. I probably see him, but at least
you take it for joke, But I mean, if Speed is to replace McClaren as the head coach, he might have to go interview himself for the job. You realize that?
Listen, start the interview, sit down on one side of the desk, get up, go over the next side.
Yeah, man. Jamaica is not a real place here, Bridget, in many aspects of our life, not only in the JFF, but so the thing go.
Man, it's crazy. Man. It's crazy. I mean, look, the ardent supporters of Speed will probably tell you that, if you're looking at coaches in Jamaica, he's the most qualified, right? Which I'm not here to debate that. But
the
the thing is, you know, it's never been a case where the coaches that coach the national team of Jamaica, right? Besides, I would say Tapper, has ever had like the type of success that we would want. You know, the best I've seen Jamaica play since I've been alive is under two coaches. One was Schaefer and one was Regge Boyz. The two best I've seen Jamaica play from a band.
I would agree with that.
And I don't think that, you know, yes, the coaches are trying to do their thing with the education and all this stuff, but my issue is this. We are using the success of a coach in a league that we have all said needs vast improvement. We're using the success of a coach in the Caribbean, which we have all said Jamaica needs to stop worrying about being the king of the Caribbean and try to become one of the kings of CONCACAF before we even move on to try to become the king of anything else. So if we're going to go with someone who we say has conquered the Caribbean, that doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things with who the Regge Boyz play. So maybe my thinking is maybe they looked at the World Cup qualifying group and they say, you know, Mr. Speid would have better have to beat them man than McClaren, you know, because he don't know them. I mean, is that what the lineup? Because again, I'm trying to figure out, is there anything positive at all?
So Jay, we not. I certainly am not suggesting or trying to say or insinuate in any way, shape, or form that Rudolph Speid is not a good coach. Because clearly he is. The numbers are there. His results are there. But don't cloak what is obviously don't try and cloak what is obviously a palace coup, you know, with this technical advisor thing. Just say that, just, you know, bite the bullet and say, yo, McClaren, you really have disappointed, right? You came here and we thought you were going to, but the team looks very disjointed under you. I mean, the consistency is not there. We play one good game and then three terrible ones. You know, you're just not working out. And thank you very much, right? And you know, we're gonna move along. I don't know. Are they afraid that people who have committed to play because McClaren was the coach, you know, might suddenly say they're not available if they're called up or not? You know, I don't know if that's a part of it.
Well, I know that the immediate thing that people were saying was, well, you know, and some people will be happy with this, you know, some Ravel done, because apparently the whole thing when Speid was on the radio saying that a prominent player is going to get sent home, he was referring to Ravel getting sent home. That never happened, by the way. He never got sent home. He didn't play, but he never got sent home.
Sent home from what? From what?
So when they were in the Unity Cup, right?
Yeah.
Apparently something happened because he made the World Cup qualifying squad as well. So I think something happened in the BVI trip between Ravel and the coaching staff and everything. And apparently, based on what Speid was saying, that person was going to be sent home, right? Which never materialized. It never happened. Everybody was saying at the time, boy, that's very unprofessional of him. I mean, he's not the coach. He's not, you know, he was there. Yes, he knows what happened. But how is it that we're hearing from him first that somebody going to get sent home? And then it turns out that no one got sent home, right? But when, you know, kind of lost my train of thought there, but
no, but look, so maybe Speid is a I mean, because he's in charge at Cavalier SC, right? And nothing don't happen with that club that doesn't have his fingers on and so on. Maybe he feels that he needed to be, you know, I have to get inside of this thing with the national team because too much, you know, I keep hearing news and things and I want to see it first and I want to know myself. And maybe, you know, he got a story that prompted him to say that a player is going to get sent home. But when he got into the mix or when he realized, boy, you can't really send home the guy. I don't know, right? But if that is what he wants, and he wants more involvement and thing, then again, don't come with this little wishy-washy, Ricketts standing up and grinning like a Cheshire cat and talking about, he's going to be on the bench and he's going to be in the locker room and he work closely with the other assistants. Him doing what? Him don't even know the name of the two assistant coaches. Who are the other two assistant coaches?
That's something that someone asked earlier in the comment section. I kind of glazed over it. I think from what I've seen, the other assistant coaches would be Meran Garden and Trevor Sinclair. Those are the only two other people I see coaching in trainings and stuff like that, right? So Meran will still be there. Trevor Sinclair, based on what I've seen from before, I guess Andrew Sewell will still be the goalkeeping coach unless something changes there. And then you have Speid and McClaren, basically. And I know there are some other technical people around the team. I know Dan Neville, who was previously the coach over with, I think he did coach at BVI one time and another small island. He was the technical director of. He's doing some kind of capacity work. I don't know what he does exactly. He's like the hidden guy. You see him in all the pictures and stuff, but nobody talks about him, says his name. But he's there in some capacity. I'm assuming he might be there just helping out, and that's why we don't hear about him so much. I don't know that to be factual, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me why they don't talk about him, because he has to be doing something.
maybe the squad for taste McClaren food first, because McClaren feels something like a prize him
or us. Maybe, I don't know, but look, I feel like this whole thing stinks, like you said. And one thing that we haven't even touched on at all, that I think it makes it even stink even worse. Think about this: the special advisor, or what name?
Technical
advisor to the coach, right? He's also managing director and I think majority owner, if I'm not mistaken, of Cavaliers SC. So what I mean,
where do you think the talent pipeline that I'm supposed to maintain going to come from?
Exactly.
If those, don't be willing.
Yeah, if those functions of an advisor are upheld for this post, he has to do that, right? So where's that talent gonna come from, for real? And what's stopping him from saying, listen, you see the next U17 and the next whatever 20 and whatever, which is what they've always been saying he's doing this before this,
We're just going to send Cavaliers side.
Because even Gunner's boss here who comment, he said earlier in the chat why he told Speid at the time again when they played Inter Miami, this should be the damn national team. Most of these guys, the coach is soft and disciplined. Mr. Speid will have the players playing and acting with that. Yeah, so I remember my train of thought now when I brought up the whole thing with Ravel. So Speid with players, we know he's had spots with Lowe in the past and Blake, right, for contracts and all kind of stuff. So what does that look like now with certain players? He's literally a part of the he'll be running a drill now and having to address these players he's had issues with. We know his history with Mr. Butler. We don't know how much that factors into Leon. I think Leon Bailey, while still not the heights that would want from him for Jamaica, I have seen a difference at least in like effort. It looks like he's trying. It ain't working out every time, but it looks like he's trying to me, more than I've seen in the past. Does that change? Does that derail that? What does it mean? What does it mean for team selection? What does it mean for, some of those senior players who have been around and, like I said, dealt with Speid in other capacities and had issues with Speid? Okay. How then can he command those players?
Okay. So, importantly, when I looked up technical advisor and what the roles and responsibilities, I did not see anything in there, and it's a question that needs to be asked and something that needs to be found out. But I didn't see anything in there related to being a part of team selection or squad selection. In other words, he might identify talent pipeline and thing, but ultimately,
the buck will stop still with
the head coach, which you know what I mean. So unless that is going to be a part of his role, but no one has said so. hopefully that will remain outside of his purview.
Yeah.
Until such time when he actually is now the head coach, really. Anybody but the head coach can pick a team.
And you know, interestingly, you know, you mentioned Schaefer earlier and what he's doing with Ghana. I'm wondering, because Schaefer was seen in multiple photographs with all of the JFF people during the Unity Cup. I'm wondering, did they look at that as a template to find a role for him that they thought would cause the least uproar, you know? Which I'm sure, look, right now, I can bet you there's about 5 other YouTubers making a show right now about this thing. I can guarantee you. See, Ryan is live, Cranky is live. I'm sure shows already done today. So this is something that if they thought that this announcement was just gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, let's see how it work out. I don't think they really read the room correctly, because there's so many holes to be poked in what's going on right now. And
yeah, man.
Like, as usual, we're left with more questions than answers.
Right. So let me just come back full circle to what I said at the start. It all comes down to communication, brother. These people do not know how to speak to their stakeholders. They have no clue. They have no clue. Okay. And I'm, you know, maybe everybody in the space that you are in should be thankful, because it is because they have no clue why you guys have so much grist for the mill. Right?
And to be honest, it's not you. I mean, you know what kind of content I really forward with. I'm doing matches. I'm putting tactics on the board. So this isn't really my thing. But at the same time, this is such an egregious thing that I feel like my voice would be necessary to at least have my opinion and take on it different from what else is going on. Because I might look at it from a different perspective that might make people look at it differently. But to me, it's obviously you know, it's almost like I used to make music, right? You know that. I used to hate when I'm in the studio and I drop something and everybody in the room say tough. I mean, know them I like. There's something when I say I never like something. So me don't want them people in the studio when me I make music. Me rather the man who have a critique, and to me that's what these JFF brass, that's the issue they have. No one around them is that voice of reason to say, yo, wanna really look on what you want to do and think it's going to look okay, the optics of it. Everyone around them is saying, yo, that's it, this is the move, blah, blah, blah. And they're full of shit. It's not the move. You're saying it's the move because you think you will be better off if that happens.
Absolutely. Man just want to make sure him say the right thing so him can go and keep eating a food and nothing more than that. So yo, Jay, you don't know it, go right? Me dep on a work thing. Again, thanks for having me drop in, you know, and share the space with you. Bless up to everyone in the chat. Father Hall gone for the time being, seen, so blessings.
Yeah, man, respect that. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for participating tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Big up yourself every time.
Man, you done bless up.
Yeah, people. So that is Mr. Hall, my pops, Michael Hall, always blazing a fire. You don't know. You see where I get it from, you know. Even though people tell me, say, boy, your father blaze more fire than you on them show. You're too calm, you know. But yeah, he's look, he's done a lot more living than I have, and him no business with nothing, people. No filter, you see it. They're just not ready right now to make him coach, but he will be the coach. Yeah, I don't know if the public will ever be ready though. Eddie in them pocket, Jaja. Jano Eddie Star. The money not worth it, bro. It not worth you. It not worth it, bro. It not worth your soul. Them a work hard for a sanction. That is a fact. Owner of a team in the Premier League is now in control of team selection. Well, Rob, let's hope. I think you did talk to that saying, you know, even though the actual write-up never said that, they can easily have him doing that as well. Local man, them can't do no show because them compromised. Right now, they are trolling diaspora fans who are against the move. Yeah, and that's sad because I don't think this should really be a divide between local and overseas as far as how you think about this. I mean, even if you live in Jamaica right now or born in Jamaica, whatever you consider local, if you can't see the problems with this, it's yeah, bro, it's obvious, bro. It's obvious. And nobody's really nobody's holding them accountable, bro. Nobody is holding them accountable at all. At all, at all, at all. It's sad. And I think they kind of know this, And I think that's why they put out the little feelers out to places and ask them, hey, what you guys think about this and that, and try to gauge reactions, because they know like they're not going to hold each other accountable. So they try to, they in their brains, they're probably like, all this stuff we're doing is for the right thing. They really honestly believe they're doing the right thing. And that might be the most sad part. They are above reproach. Yep. Yeah, man, everybody I bless up Dad for checking in. Yeah, man. I talked to him shortly around today. I said, Dad, I don't know if you have time later, but boy, I really love to venture into them realms, because me like to stick to the football. But this is something that affects the football. We have to be honest. So I can't really not talk about it, I can't not talk about it. Yes, I would agree. I'm more diplomatic, I would agree there. And he probably was more diplomatic, but I'm telling you, as the old them get, or I guess I don't like to say older, I like to say wise. The wise them get, diplomatic thing out the window, you see it. Even though he was pretty much always that way, to be honest, He never really cared so much for diplomacy at all. Yeah, man, a fireman for sure. I've only seen unseen defend this stupidity. Yeah, look, everybody who is defending it is making it about his coaching ability. But the thing is, and what they fail to realize is, I don't think anybody cares if the coaching staff has a Jamaican on it, like a local coaching coach on it. To me, that's not important, because we don't utilize what we have. We have ex-players coaching at the MLS Next Pro level, coaching at the USL Championship level, right? We have former players that have the required badges needed to at least be on a staff for Jamaica, and we don't go that route. Instead, we're taking a person out of a role currently into another role, making that role sound a certain way so that he can still keep the role he's been in. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The Jamaican coach just can't own a team. Yeah, look, because, and in hindsight, I'm thinking about it, and what has the narrative been? And even Rob Smith has been upset with this narrative. Why is it that we're putting so much focus on the assistant coach? Right? Why are we not beating the head coach? And I think, but the thing is, why is it that this is not the presidential election or elections in Jamaica where you just have two choices? Why we can't have some different choice? Why we stuck with them two then? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. There are so much more coaches out there that we could look at, try to choose. Look, they say they've been running into the wall with McClaren choice them. Every time you pick somebody, them gone. Better offers coming for them. That's another thing. Better offers coming in for them. So you're telling me you put Speid in a role, special advisor. I don't have any proof of this, but it's just been reported in my comment section today that it is a paid position. So that money that you're taking to pay a special advisor, I would love to know what was offered of the assistant coaches that did come at one point and then get pried away for better opportunities. Like, what was our package for them? And was it even competitive? Like, obviously, I know we can't compete with, if the person goes to a top 5 league and gets a job, even an MLS salary or whatever the case is, but was it at least somewhere close to competitive as far as compensation? Or was it like trying to pay him what you would pay Meron Garden as an assistant, or because I would like to think that regardless of what coaching education or licenses that Marion Garden has, you know, he cannot really command a huge salary because of his experience level. You know, he's never coached outside of Jamaica. I don't think he's ever coached. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought he was only a schoolboy coach for the most part. I don't know if he ever did coach in the JPL. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak out of turn on Marion Garden's coaching history, but I thought he only coached the Costa Cup before and schoolboy level before. This is how dictatorships are formed. Facts. They need folks who will go along to get along. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. It's just sad though, bro. It's really, really sad, man. I swear. Really, really sad. But people, honestly, there's no need to beat this dead horse. We're gonna keep watching this space, see what's going on. Try to see if there's anything more official that comes out on the side of the JFF. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. I was while we were talking, Dad and I just now was looking on JFF Live. I was looking at their Instagram just to see if there's any kind of official news. I know JFF news comes out every Monday, so tomorrow is the 28th. There should be another episode of that. Maybe they're saving it for Simon to break it to everyone in his JFF news. I don't know. You know, I'll be listening to all the radio programs tomorrow to see if there's an appearance from anyone from the JFF to try to keep up with that. But yeah, I've checked JFF Live YouTube. I see nothing. Let me try their Instagram now, see if there's any kind of press release or anything. I've checked the media group, which has all the media that follow the Regge Boyz and girls in there. I don't see anything there. So other than that clip that was put on Instagram earlier, courtesy of TVJ News, I think that's all I've seen in regards. So that one video with Ricketts is all I've been able to see as an official statement from the JFF. So, you know, nothing on paper or anything like that. So like I said, we'll keep on watching the news and see what's going on, see if we can find something a little more official than what we saw there. But yeah, nothing on JFF Football Instagram at all about that. So yeah, they have not put out anything official as yet, it looks like. Let me just check one more place. I'm gonna say, yo, oh, you said we never say anything. All right, let's see. So the media group is just showing us all of Arnett Garden's goals. So nothing about that. So yeah, nothing at all about that, people. Nothing at all about that. Somebody asked if we had a technical advisor before. No, we've never had that before. Never. Technical director. And it's almost as if like the technical director could easily or should be doing the stuff that my dad was just saying. You know, identifying the talent coming up, you know, putting structures in place to aid in development, things like that. So yeah, it's crazy, man. We have a TD getting paid. I would love to know what a month of our TD looks like. You know, how many meetings? Who is he meeting with? You know, what does his 3, 5, 10-year plan look like? And you know what's in place to make sure you're hitting all your key points that you need to hit to be where you want to be in 3 years. You know, are they even looking at it that deep? You know, probably. I don't know. I don't want to say they aren't, but boy, the evidence not showing in the field. You know, we have little pockets of bright things happening, but you know, overall, it's not going the way I think we would want. You know, it's not going that way. What is a technical advisor's job description, function? What are the required qualifications for a technical advisor? Well, the functions of a technical advisor too in a football program. See if I can find So let's see. Managing specific phases of the training session, right? Covering for the coach in case of absence. Wow. So maybe coming up shortly here with there be some personal reason absences coming up, you know. Working with small groups and technical and tactical objectives requested by the coach. So the advisor actually takes info from the coach and then works in small groups with the players. Improving technical and coordinative skills of each player using small groups, creating plans for players who are recovering from an injury with the support of the medical staff, handling athletic and motor preparation for multiple teams, evaluating single players and the team's progress. Sometimes the technical advisor can be an intern or a coach in training to whom one can entrust easy tasks that are nevertheless important for training sessions management. So this thing is making it seem like the advisor is really like a little soft soap thing. But yeah, that's just one little thing I read. Let me see if I can get something. So a lot of times when you're searching technical advisor, it's like I'm seeing technical director pop up a lot. So it's almost okay. Okay, I just read that. So I'm only seeing one place that actually talking about this technical advisor thing. So one thing I think will be good as I delve into this whole thing and try to make sense of it, I'm going to try to do some research on Schaefer and what his purview is in his role, and try to see how much Jamaica will be mimicking that. Because I would like to think that they would have spoken to Schaefer about his capacity as advisor. Because if the only other one that we can readily come up with is him, he used to coach Jamaica at one point, and just so happens that we just saw him about a month ago or 2 months ago now in the Unity Cup, and could have spoken to him and picked his brain about it. I would like to think those two things have a correlation. The fact that Schaefer used to coach us, we just saw Schaefer at a competition, and he's the technical advisor to Ghana, and now Speid will be getting the post of technical advisor to Jamaica. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, the Sportsmax interview was said it all for sure. Next Up said nothing at all. Everybody big up Next Up Sports as well. I think Eras earlier had dropped his yeah, here it is right here. Make sure you guys go and follow Next Up Sports Talk. Go and subscribe to the man. The soundboard is lit and the takes are lit as well. So I'm gonna give him a strength over there at his channel. Big up Francis in the building. Swamptivity out of the swamp. Come see what I go on. Big up yourself, But there, brother, try and make sense of nonsense, I am glad that the elite leagues will resume soon. Bless up, bro. Yeah, I know, Sheridan. This headache is not for everybody, He's basically the assistant coach. They just give him another title so he can keep his other roles. Yeah. There's really no other reason than what you just said, Owen. Like, clearly, because even the TVJ News write-up said, interestingly, he will be keeping his role as head of the technical committee or chairman of the technical committee. So I'm assuming the reason why he wasn't just made an assistant coach is because they know that he would have to step down. Now, me personally, I think if he's advising and around the team so closely, he also needs to relinquish as chairman of the technical committee, because it's one thing to be the chairman of the technical committee who the coach would know what their job is to evaluate him. How is it that he's going to evaluate and be doing collaborating with him to run training sessions and come up with tactical game plans for matches and things of that nature? Like Dad was saying earlier, is it that he could at some point just say, yeah man, Steve, I think this two in the back, 4 midfield and 4 attackers, that would be perfect. 2-4-4. We should run that today because we don't need to worry about defending. Would he say things like that just to sabotage the man, just to say, yo, we have to fire him, because I'm there and I'm seeing and he sucks? he's no good. You know, I don't know, man. It don't make no sense. I don't know how it's gonna work. Oh no, if that's his job to do, we are doomed. Big up Conrad Smith in the building. I go, I'm a brother. Jamaica need higher quality of this role. Yeah, I agree. They need something. They need something. Speed, no need for the coaching staff at all. They don't have no trust in McClaren, none at all. But Mr. Speed doesn't strike me as someone who would take instructions from anyone, least of all McClaren. Yeah, and that's what it goes back to. I had one, like, based on the role and how I read it, he's not higher than the coach. He's there to advise the coach. Is that okay for Speed? You know, is that okay for Speed? From what you know of him, you know, he does delegate a lot at Cavalier, it must be said. But at the end of the day, he is the final say. And if he's going to be around the team, I would think that he would want to have the final say as well. And how much pushback can McClaren really have if, you know, Speed in a way is responsible for you having a job in the first place? So if Speed comes with an idea to you, how willing are you to say, Speed, you know, that's fuckery, what it said, we're not doing that? You know, he'd probably try to argue it, you know, but if the power structure was correct, he would just be able to look at them and say, no, we ain't doing that. I don't think that's the right thing. Whereas with Speed involved, it might not be so fast. You know, McClaren might try to convince him otherwise, but, you know, who knows how strong he will fight when it's Speed is the one he's going against, you know? You have your boss that really watch you. It's mad. Yeah, Owen, agree with you. I had one. Don't Butler going to have a point more now seeing Mr. Speed do that, Jason? Yeah, for sure. As a matter of fact, I have not been to Butler's Instagram, but I would be shocked if there isn't some kind of cryptic message on there right now. Let me see if I'm having any new posts. And maybe I'm not too know it yet, you know. I'm just not see it yet. But brother, trust me. You see, by morning, you might see the longest Instagram post ever. About 6 pages worth of reading. You know, when Butler getting them long writing, you know, just make sure you can figure out mistake. Things are full of mistake. I get excited and just start type fast. We have the inmates running the asylum. I tell you, none. He's the boss. He couldn't tell that to Grimmy. Nope. Craig have bigger things to worry about. Jason Facts. All them players defecting to Ratted, so he might feel like cost them for not being loyal, you know. But trust me, I'm gonna find a way for getting at this as well, man. Trust me. Okay, no, anything with Speed, you know, man. I'm ready for cuss. And can you blame Craig if him come out right now with all a live video or a live Insta? I say, yo, I'm telling you about the corruption, you know. I'm telling you from time, you know. And can you wrong him? You can't wrong him. Because that's exactly what it looks like, people. That's exactly what this looks like. Like one big corruption. Trust me. Because I don't know how a man can hire himself. I'm still try to figure that out. You have a lot going on here. Yeah, a whole lot. A whole lot. With players leaving. Yeah, man, a lot of shit in my deal right now for sure. But people, as I said, I'm not to keep, you know. I've pretty much said my piece. Can't really say it anymore. In closing, I don't see a silver lining to this. I don't see a silver lining to this, people. I really don't. As I said, if it was the case where our only choices are all the A-licensed coaches in Jamaica that are almost to the pro license are doing it now, then yeah, it can be argued that Speed is the most equipped and ready, you know. Also, it can't be argued that Speed is a better coach or a more equipped coach for the national team than Marion Garden. But one thing that nobody can argue to me is that the head or chairman of the technical committee, you know, the one that makes recommendations to the board, doesn't hire them, doesn't fire them, but makes recommendations to them about who to hire and who to fire, right? And of course, the buck stops with the board itself. We get that. But at the end of the day, look amongst the board. Look at the president of the board. You think the president is making any football decisions without consulting, what all of them in the JFF deem and think are the brightest mind in the football in Jamaica, Rudolph Speid? No, he's involved in all of that stuff. Whether directly, indirectly, whether it's written on paper that he is or not, he's always consulted on all this stuff. And he'll probably tell you that himself, right? Now, will he be forthright with how much he does help? Because he might tell you, I leave the room for that vote, or I told him don't get me involved in that, or and that sounds good, but we don't know if that's the truth. We don't have no way to prove that it is or not. You have to take his word for it. So it is what it is. But again, people, I don't understand how the man recommending coaches to the board. Basically recommended himself, I guess, and then the board approved it. So, power is a hell of a thing. Power is a hell of a thing, can get you places in life, especially when you're working inside the framework of Jamaica and Jamaican sporting administration. Okay, people. So, look, I'm going to leave you with that. It was my pleasure to bring you this show. We're just short of the 2-hour mark here tonight, and that's fine. Thanks again to Dad, Michael Hall, for coming on and giving his take on the whole situation. And again, people, just make sure you guys make this video grow legs, all right? A lot of people need to hear this perspective from myself and the OG himself, Michael Hall. So, people, do me that favor, share the content. If you're brand new to the channel, first time seeing it, consider, and you should, because why not? Subscribe to the channel as well. Again, massive respect to all the members of the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. It's $1.99 a month for anybody considering to become one. Just find it in the description on the video. Also, the homepage for the video when you search on the channel, you will see it in the information part. Just find the join button, click it, follow the instructions. They will get you signed up as a member. And of course, drop a like on this video, whether you're watching it live, on the replay, or if you're watching a little chopped up version, because I think I'm going to try to chop this video a little bit to give some more pointed information points, that people might want to just hear that part of the conversation. Also, something that I have been doing lately, and it's very helpful, because I do like to watch and support the other YouTubers as well. 1.5 speed is about good enough to still understand and then go through the content a little faster. So that's my little suggestion to you guys who don't know about that. Double time is a bit fast. Some people can. I miss a few things when I do it that fast. 1.5 is that sweet spot where it goes a little bit faster than normal, and a 2-hour program can be listened to in a little bit less time, save you some time, because some of these shows do get long from time to time. My mom always telling me, why you have to do so many live videos that's so long and I say, mommy, it's about the algorithm, and I would have to teach you about YouTube to explain that to you. But people, it is what it is. Tonight I'm not gonna stretch this one to the 2-hour mark just because that's not my style. I've said what I have to say on the topic. I'm not just going to keep speaking about the same thing over and over and over. So, people, that's about it for tonight. Again, I'm going to go and get some rest. Long week coming up this week, so I want to make sure that I'm fully charged up. And you guys that are members of the channel, do me a solid. Like the video, of course. Also, please turn on the bell notifications. Set them to all, because, with my lifestyle, my family life, different things each week going on, I don't really have the capability right now, the way my life set up, to come on stream every day at a certain time. So you guys just do me that solid. Stay engaged by hitting that notification bell and set it to all, so that whenever Jason All goes live, you guys can find it. All right, people. So, people, at the end of the show, taking advantage of the elderly. At least Captain had the masses and made moves to advance program. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I'm saying doing a captain in Canada for say one captain, but that's true. It is true. Because for all the crap that he did, nobody say he's a saint. But trust me, he definitely did stuff for the football just the same. I think he could have done more, you know, but he at least was doing some. I just pray we qualify the same. If we don't, not wasting my time supporting the national team going forward. Damn. Well, Owen, just so that they don't lose a fan, I hope they do make it. But boy, it's gonna take a minor miracle how them are doing the thing right now. Bless up Dre anywhere sports in the building, people. This man is a veteran, you know. So, but we still plug the veteran them same way. Please, people, follow Dre anywhere sports. I think he's a lot more active on TikTok and IG and stuff. So yeah, man, it's Dre anywhere sports and all the handle them, all the social place them. So follow him, give him a strength, like, share, subscribe, you know. Yes, people. So big up to each and every one of you that in the building. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm gonna go and get a little bit of rest now. Probably see what my other co-workers have to say on the topic. But yeah, big up to each and every one of you. Again, we reached to the end of the program, and at the end of the show, you hear these words here. I am Jason Gooner. This channel is Jason Gooner TV, and until next time, you people. And I can't even give you a come on, Regge Boyz tonight. I forgot to say, yo, the whole I want over that side, JFF, technical committee, technical staff, board members, all I want to do the right thing and stop the foolishness.